Yep.
All right.
So this is gonna be pretty easy. We're gonna talk about you and your life and anything else that you want to get to. Just bring it up. I can kind of follow the flow. If it's something that you want to talk about, your advocacy, your travels, um, all of that great stuff. Sound like a plan?
Okay.
All right, cool. All right, man, let's get into it. We are on with a guy that I have admired for a very long time. And I'm going to tell you a story that I most remember about what I like to call him the ultimate hustler, right? The proverbial hustler. So, this guy right here, I go to Bainbridge for the very first time. I know nothing about Bainbridge. I'm in Bainbridge. And all I kept hearing was everybody talking about this guy right here. And I'm like, I need to meet this guy right here, not knowing that I already met the man, the myth, Mr. Stancil Tootle. And so I go back to Bainbridge on some other work-related stuff, and there's new women, all except for one, and all the women still talk about Stancil Tootle. Stancil Tootle done sold him everything. He need to be in real estate, man. I tell you, cause when I first had him selling stuff, he was selling like cosmetic products, lotion and stuff. I'm like, man, this man sells water to a well. You guys put your virtual hands together for Mr. Stancil Tootle. How you doing, sir?
All right, there, brother. Good morning. Good morning. And
Good
it's a
morning, man. It is
fantastic day to
definitely a
be
good
above
morning.
dirt. Yes, indeed. and
Guys,
and a hustler. Okay.
I'm a hustler, baby. I just want you to know. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got to get to it, man, because that's what life is all about, hustling. So listen, we're going to take it way back, way back, way back. Not that far back, but, way back in the machine. Tell us about little teeny Tootle and what was life like for you growing up.
Okay. I was born in a town called Glenville, Georgia, which is very small. It's in southeast Georgia. Matter of fact, they got a whole lot of water over there right now as a result of Hurricane Tropical Storm Debbie. It's so bad right about now that everything is basically closed down. But I was born to two blind adults in a
Wow.
little small rural southern country town. Uh, and I am the fifth of six children. Was born with congenital cataracts, so got that birth defect. A couple of my kids got it, nieces and nephews, grandkids got it, and I've recently had a great grand. She got it.
Hmm.
Uh, so I'm third generation, and I've done my part. So now it's down to six. Wait, yeah, generation. So as far as things look, there's always gonna potentially be some blind toodles in
Okay.
this world, which also plays a part in why I'm so outspoken about accessibility and equal access in conjunction with taking personal responsibility to make sure that as things do become available, you gotta you gotta make sure you put your hands in there and you learn how to use it, because just because you blind, the average person ain't gonna give you a handout if you don't go in there with your hands out saying get out of my doggone way.
And speaking of getting out the way, let me ask you this. So being visually impaired, I know for me, like I could half see, half not see. So I was in that world, too blind to see, too, sighted to be blind. But having the limitations that you did going to like, middle school and high school, how was that for you? Did people tease you or were you like just a different cool kid? What was it like for you?
Well, uh, number one, I went to a residential school for blind folks. I went to the school for the blind here in Georgia,
Okay.
uh, which it was half and half. I got a top notch education by going to that residential. Oh, and one other thing I think is important, I was born with a speech problem. I stutter,
Okay.
which is kind of rough being a black male who stutters and who can't see. That's a that's a triple whammy or double whammy, because there's so much put on vision, and God
Hmm.
knows there's so much put on being able to talk and to communicate. And so, talking about getting teased and stuff, I've always got picked at. If it wasn't because I couldn't see, it was because of how I talked. I People used to always call me tied tongue or cross-eyed. I know back in the day, people used to, cause I have a stigmatism, so I can't control the movement of my eyes and stuff. So I started wearing shades at an early age because I got tired of people talking about, why you looking over there when I'm over here,
Yeah.
you know? And,
Man, I experienced that all too much. And you know what? This is the first time in my 48 years of living that I heard somebody tell a very similar story. They used to all, I'm over here. Oh my
yeah,
God, I used to hate that, dude. I mean, wanted to
yeah,
punch
yeah,
you in your face
yeah,
right over here. Now, where you at? Ah,
yeah, yeah. And so the only place I really felt safe as a whole me was at my parents' house
right.
because my parents did not tolerate any of us talking about anybody else at all. You wanted a whipping, you know, talk about one of your siblings,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But
Let me ask you this.
I,
How did your parents meet? If both of them are blind, being a blind dude in this community, how we meet now, and there's a lot of relationships based off of our disability. Did your parents ever tell you the story of how they met?
yeah, my mama came from North Georgia, and that's the side where the congenital cataracts came from. But
Mm-hmm.
my mama came from North Georgia, and my daddy got shot when he was 21 years old, and he went blind. And so they met at the Atlanta Center for the Black Blind back
Wow.
in 1950. I think it was about 53. My mama had went there for training because my mama came from a town called Noonan, which is outside of Atlanta.
Right.
And my mama had went there and got some training, and they asked her to stay on and become part of the staff. And then my daddy wound up going up there from South Georgia, and they met. And my daddy say when he wound up graduating, he took my mama with him and brought her back to South. South Georgia,
Mm.
and yeah, and so yeah, and so it was by chance because that center for black blind folks, it was supposed to have been something like a rehab center back in those days. Uh, but it was by chance that my daddy went up there because my daddy had went blind back in 1939, and he didn't wind up going and getting some rehab till the early 50s. And
Wow.
because he was about he was 15 years older than my mama,
Okay.
and so he was a Hellcat. I, I guess I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
say that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
grown. We grown.
yeah.
The
But
kids.
yeah, and so like I say, my daddy got shot when he was 21,
Okay.
and by the time he met my mama, he was 38, and they got married, and my mama left Noonan and moved 190 miles down to Glenville, Georgia, with this other blind man, and they used to tell us stories about how all everybody would say how them blind people gonna raise children, how they gonna take care of each other, and who gonna wipe their butts and stuff. And
Say the same way the dog wipes theirs. He get clean,
yeah,
don't it?
yeah. And my daddy was rough, and he used to tell us a story about one night he came home drunk as usual, and because he was rough. My daddy
Hmm.
was rough, and he came home drunk one night, and my mama said he was just showing his ass all night long,
Right.
and she say, and my daddy used to tell this story too. That next morning, say my mama told my daddy, say, look here, you ever come home one more time acting like you acted last night, I'm gonna take these children, which at that time they had two,
Hmm.
and my daddy say she told him, I'm gonna take these children, I'm going back to Noonan, and you ain't gonna never see them no more. And my daddy say from that day for the next 40 years he changed, and he became a pillar of the community. He became a activist. He became, being in a small town, he became that man that when black folks wanted somebody to go talk to Mr. Charlie, they would come and get my daddy.
Hmm.
And when Mr. Charlie wanted to get some messages to the black folks, or when it was voting time or whatever, they would come and sit on my daddy's porch and have conversations with my daddy about how or what needed to be done in the community. And
Mm.
so, and me and my brother Galen, who is passed, and we were privileged to watch my daddy do things from the front porch without ever having any education. Uh, Jesse Jackson came to our house. Hosea Williams came to our house. Dick Gregory came to our house. Senator Sam Nunn came to our house. When he was governor, Jimmy Carter came to my daddy's house,
Mm.
to sit on my daddy's porch and to ask my daddy. And so was taught that you got to advocate. You got to be civically involved, and You got to speak up, and sometimes you got to speak up for people who would wish you was damn dead. But
Man, 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 you said a mouthful there. So, what I got out of that, number one, is a great communicator, a great advocate. Believed in voting, and man, the biggest thing, Tootle, I promise with me, and I just had to keep going, man. People that couldn't stand my guts, and you know it. For what you believe in is a powerful, powerful thing. Speaking up for people who don't even know that they need, what it is we talking about. You just so in the dark, it's ridiculous. So man, that's amazing for you to even speak of. So this advocacy thing and speaking up and speaking out is just in your family lineage at this point, right?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man,
Yes, sir.
man, man.
You know,
So
and just like you said, man, most of the people that you advocate for, either they ain't gonna ever come back and say thank you, or
no.
matter of fact, or they gonna want to give credit to somebody else who ain't did shit. But and then most importantly, man, I done had several situations in my life where when we started out, there was a large community
hmm
beside me and behind me.
hmm
But by the time we got to the finish line, all them jokers had done haul butt.
Ah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's the way it always happens. Oh, we for you. We got to. We got
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
boy. When you get in that congressman face, you look around, you talk about me and my people, and it ain't nobody but you. And if you got a guide dog, the guide dog sleep, baby. Man, I know what you're talking about, man. Listen, so high school, you graduate. What's
I
next
but
for
now
you?
that's one other thing now.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
There was a painful side to growing up.
Okay.
Once again, about being picked at, man. You
Got you.
know, uh, children are cruel.
Oh, yeah.
And even like my uncle kin folks used to pick at me, man, and I would knock hell out of folk quick. But and with my stuttering,
hmm
uh, people, and people say stuff, or they'll want to finish my sentences and all that kind of stuff. And so, but my, I was always told, boy, you better talk up,
Right, right.
by my parents, cause I couldn't. My parents would not allow me to use my blindness or me not being able to talk
That's
as
an
a reason
excuse.
to stay in the damn house.
Right.
My dad said one time, here, go out there, and if you run into damn trees, you'll learn where the damn tree at the next time.
Go around.
Yeah, but if I wouldn't have went to that school in Macon,
Mm-hmm.
coming from a little small town, even though that's where my parents were, but like my daddy used to tell me things like things like my daddy was born in 1915.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we grew up in an agricultural town. And I asked my daddy one time, Daddy, why do you keep saying yes, sir, and no, sir, to people 40 years younger than you? My daddy said, your ass want to eat, don't you? and and then he also said, Bashan, I say yes, sir, and no, sir. So when my children get grown, my children ain't got to say yes, sir, and no, sir, unless they want to.
Right. Wow.
You know.
Man. Man, I'm gonna get to what was next for you after high school, but I feel like I need to ask this question. So, did you ever experience racism, and if so, when was the first time you knew that this was blatant racism?
We went in. We went in a store. We was at the counter first. Me and my mama.
Mm,
And and of course we came through the back door, but I did not realize that that was because we were black. We kept going through the back door until I
thought it
got
was a
grown.
shortcut.
It was just how we done it, 'cause I thought because, that's where the shade trees were,
Right,
'cause,
right, right.
but, but, and this was in the 70s, man.
Wow.
But we were in a store, we was at the counter, and then some folks came in, and and my my mama grabbed our stuff, and we just backed up in the back, and me being the curious kid I am, I'm asking mama why we did that. Mama said, "Shut up, boy."
Mm.
And she hit me in the store because I wouldn't shut up.
Right,
But when we got home, and Daddy sat me down and tried to explain it to me, even though I didn't understand what the hell they were talking about.
right.
But 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 I said, damn, we here first. Y'all always talking about having manners and stuff. But then,
And then you let that
but
person.
yeah. Yeah. So, and we did a whole lot. We did a whole lot of field work for different people. My daddy used to could pick two tobacco rolls at one time and couldn't see a lick. But
Mm,
that man could pick two tobacco rolls at one time, and he just tell me, "Boy, your job is to sing. You just sing."
okay.
and but since they were both blind, we did a whole lot of agricultural work. Or we shelled a whole lot of peas. People always would bring coolers of fish to us, and then around Christmas time, when people would bring us stuff, their secondhand stuff, and then
Mm,
when crop time come, they would come back and say, "Greeley, you remember what we gave y'all back during Christmas?" So then, we didn't get fair wage. Hell, it ain't. There was no such thing as fair wages then.
right,
But
right.
but it was a lot of bartering going on. But we ate good. Matter of fact, most people in the neighborhood would come to my parents' house
Mm,
to eat because one thing for sure, everybody knew my mama was gonna cook 3 times a doggone day, and
mm.
we even fed the Undertaker's children.
Wow, wow. Like Cheryl Hard say, one thing for sure, two things for certain. Y'all go eat, huh?
Just so
Got
and
you.
one of the things about going to that school in Macon,
Okay.
growing up from up until I went to that school in Macon, I knew I was the center of the universe.
Hmm.
But then I went to that school in Macon, and this memory is still very vivid in my mind. They took me up there to Macon, which was about 160 miles from where I was born at. So at that time, my oldest brother wasn't able to get licensed, so we had to depend on other people to drive us around.
Mm.
So, but these people took my whole family up to Macon, Georgia. It was on a Sunday, and they took us to the Academy for the Blind, to the black campus, because back then there was a campus for the black blind kids and a campus for the white blind kids.
Okay.
But they took me to this school, and then when it was time to go, everybody got back in the car except me. And I used to ask my brother, do he remember our parents telling him about they were going to take him up there to that school, because my my brother was 4 years older, so he went up there earlier than I
Mm.
did. But I never, I can't remember nobody or my parents telling me that we're gonna take you up here to this place and we're gonna leave you so you can get a education.
Mm-hmm.
So they got back in the car, and I'm crying and hollering and hitting on the car. Y'all can't leave me. And they drove off, man. And uh, I never, I, I never got no. Well, I asked my mama when I got grown, years. I was about 30. I asked my mama, why did y'all send me to that school?
Mm.
And she told me that a parent's greatest desire is to know that when they dead and gone, that their child can make it without relying on anybody. And she
Wow.
said, if we would have kept you here, you would have been living off of your sisters or your brothers or the government or something.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, we wanted to make sure that you and your brother couldn't use any excuse for why you can't achieve whatever you want to do.
Wow.
It, you know, and, and I've talked to other kids, other people who went to the school with us. Like that was me and two other guys that started at the academy on the same day, and we graduated on the same day, 13 years later.
Okay. Okay.
You know, and you know, we all got some of those same kind of stories, and we also got some of the stories by as a result of going to that residential school. We don't have those connections with siblings that typical families have because we was always gone.
Right.
You know,
Right.
you know, and but know,
Tootie, you went out. Tootie, you went out.
uh, um,
Okay, you there.
okay,
Can you hear me?
all right. Yeah, yes, sir. So
Okay.
by going to that residential school was able to go to college without having to take any remedial courses. Went to college. And I got good blindness training at that school, and hell, and then I had two positive blind role models in my house. So
Gotcha.
and yeah, but also I got caught up. I got caught up
How you
in
get caught? How you get caught up?
I got caught up in drugs and alcohol.
Okay.
Well, hell, alcohol is a
A
drug,
drug.
but yeah. So even but uh Another thing my parents drilled in me and my brother, well, drilled in all of us, is that you always got to work twice as hard. And then they would tell me and my brother Galen, by y'all being black and blind, you got to work twice as hard to get the same recognition that the average person will get.
Right.
So, became an overachiever.
Got to. Got
Yeah,
to.
and I I don't like coming in second. You know,
Right. Right. So let's talk about, most people, most non narcissistic people don't brag on themselves, but what's some of your proudest moments of things that we got a couple of people we can talk to, boy, they can run down the list. Oh, you don't know? You don't know? Boy, you don't, so, but for you, what are some of your proudest moments?
when I quit crack,
Okay.
you know, that was a point in my life, man, where I was referred to as unreliable. There was a time in my life where people didn't want me around, man. That was a couple. My sisters used to tell folks I wasn't their brother.
Mm.
But after I got my shit together, found recovery, they all of them sent me their children to raise.
Right.
Cause we want y'all to be like your uncle Stan. Cause they called me Stan, and since you heard how I say it, that's why I
Mm.
don't damn use it.
Right. Right.
Girl, a pretty fine girl come up to me and say, "What's your name?" Here I'm going, just. You
So you said Tootle.
This ain't true.
You can get that out real quick.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Call, them and say, "What's wrong with you? You retarded?" You know, but
Right. I remember that was a word. Now we can't even say it no more.
yeah, 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 yeah. And like when I get hung up on them S words and stuff, people
Uh,
have told me, man, you make some ugly faces when you be trying to get them S words.
yo,
But yeah,
man.
but but getting off of crack, cause man, I thought I was gonna die smoking crack.
Mm.
Crack was a demon. They be talking about all the drugs and stuff that are going on now, and maybe for them that's what it is. But man, I can remember, Rashawn, I would be getting, I'd be getting high, trying to light up my works, and I'm asking God, please, if you just blow out this damn lighter, that'll be a sign that you want me to quit. And God would never blow out that lighter, And so, to literally be doing something that you really didn't want to do, and cause you knew you wasn't raised like that,
Right.
responsible. I knew I wasn't raised to. If you put your money down, and if I can damn find it, I'm gonna put it in my pocket and help you look for
I don't see it.
it. you know,
You sure you left it right?
yeah,
You sure you
but
left it right
that,
here?
that was 30 years ago. When they were saying that all black men that got on crack wasn't gonna never change, and you couldn't trust them,
Mm.
and lock them up and throw away the key and all that BS, and the Creator saw fit to to allow me to walk out of hell, going backwards. But I walked out of hell,
Mm.
and it don't mean nothing to nobody else, but it mean a hell of a lot to me because I,
Man.
cause I knew I wasn't living my purpose when I was smoking that shit, man. But I couldn't quit at that time.
Hmm. How
And
long did you
then
smoke?
I started, I, I started smoking crack in '84, but I, uh, I had, I had been. I used to do micro dots and all that other kind of that acid and shit too because I'm a musician. Well, I was a musician and
Hmm.
used to be part of bands and stuff, and being part of hanging out all night long and stuff.
Hmm.
Cause I love music. Other than learning new stuff, between learning and music, if I could not do those two things, I really don't think life would be worth living.
Okay.
Cause music, man, that's that's straight from God when to have music. But yeah, so putting down the dope and watching other people walk out of hell, or watching other people have aha moments. Like I'm pretty sure with the type of work that you do,
Hmm.
when you be training people with technology,
Hmm.
and even though we can't see, we can feel when that light bulb go off
Yep. Yep.
for somebody.
Yep.
And that's one of the most gratifying feelings in this world, to know that somebody got that light bulb to come on and they'll never look at things the same way a damn again. And to know that you played a small part through your gift that the Creator gave you, there's nothing better.
Man, that's what I hang my hat on, and that's what I call it. That's when I realized what the gift was, and when it's being activated is exactly that. They'll have that moment where everything just comes together, and they be like, "Oh man, this is awesome," And so, yeah, I live for that moment, man. So I'm
Yeah.
definitely, I'm definitely with you, man.
And now I got to give, you guys, well, I think it was you and Giorgio. We
Hmm.
was at an NFB of Georgia's convention. I think it was either 2010 or 29. But they had came out with the iPhone 3S, and I think that was the first one they put the voiceover on.
Yes, sir.
And you guys did some kind of auction or some kind of raffle drawing or
Hmm.
something, and y'all gave away an iPhone 3S. Y'all changed my life. I haven't been without an iPhone since. And
Man.
everybody I run into, sighted or blind, but mainly blind, we're blind or any other sensory disability, urge them. We need to find some kind of way to get you an iPhone.
Yeah.
I done gave so many of them away. I have assisted people with buying one, and I also give my time showing people how to use them.
Hmm.
But you guys, one of the aha moments was when Creator put it in line that I was able to get that iPhone that y'all gave out at that conference, because I don't I don't think I would have bought one for years later, because it just I couldn't understand at that time how a blind person could use a touch
It's grateful.
screen. Even even though now, even when I was doing dope, I remember when my library got a computer
Mm-hmm.
and they had DOS on it.
Yep, I remember MS DOS.
And I used to go to the library after work, man, and just play around with that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And all my buddies would say, "Man, you crazy? What you going to just wasting your time?" But I've always been about learning.
Mm-hmm.
And then and the if if you wanna make me get off of my butt and do something different, let me see another blind person do it.
Man, what
You
you
know,
talking about? Ah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I just told Eric Smith today. He was asking me about these sunglasses, and Giorgio had literally just got off the phone 20 minutes prior talking about the same sunglasses. And
the
I
Ray
said,
Ban.
yeah, yeah. But I say, man, if you get them, I get them. I just ain't no sunglasses person. But I say, man, if you got them, I'ma rock with you. We'll be band members together with the Ray Bans. What you think about it? You seen them? You had them?
I have no. I've only heard people talking about them, but since they are $2,500 cheaper than the oil than the oil can,
That's 25.
even though even though Oracan is gonna get out of the blindness field,
Mm-hmm.
but I want a pair. But I gotta find me a funding source. Cause truth be told, I'm not working.
Mm,
I'm not working financially.
right.
And but at the same time, uh, well,
Go ahead.
maybe, uh, I don't, I haven't found the way to charge regularly for the knowledge or what I know, or I don't, or I haven't approached the right person, or draw up a contract before I start sharing what I know. And so,
Right.
but the creator, I everything I've ever bought, let them take back most of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I haven't missed a meal. Uh, and I get invited into spaces, but nobody want to tell me how to turn what I know into money, but also make sure that I give a worthwhile service. And so I have a desire to help, probably too much.
Mm-hmm.
So and I'm not real quote business minded when it comes to my knowledge, But now I will sell you stuff. I go buy stuff and I turn around and flip it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love selling, but I haven't learned how to sell my knowledge and stuff. But yeah, but I want to check out those glasses because one of the things that I keep reading about is that you can Bluetooth them with your telephone,
Right.
and since it has that camera and it has the headphone thing, you can keep your telephone in your pocket and through Siri and those glasses, you can do almost everything you want.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm curious, but then there's no stores in my part of Georgia to go check them out, and I really don't want to. The next time I go to Atlanta, I'm gonna try to see can I find someplace to go check it out. But I gotta find me a resource to pay for it. But yeah, I want a pair because like I say, I wear shades anyhow.
Okay.
People, my buddies are always buying me shades because people who know me know that because of my stigmatism.
Mm-hmm. What part of Georgia you in?
I'm in currently I'm in Albany, Georgia. I'm in Southwest Georgia. Matter of fact, you came down a couple of months back to do some work at the center that I'm the board president of down in Bainbridge.
Darn, man, listen, I've been in Albany for every week probably since February almost. And I
Every
just
week.
finished up. Yeah, I did a I mean, I was practicing for a play. We did a play there at the playhouse there. And that's where I was going back and forth rehearsing for the play, and then I had the Bainbridge Center stuff that I talked about.
Hmm.
But I had no clue you was, still in that part of town. I invited Tracy and Kim and
Okay.
um, I was just there like 2 weeks ago. Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. And matter of fact, now which one of the playhouses? Cause
It's the community one. I think it's called like the Albany Playhouse.
next door to me,
Say it one more time.
next door to me, cause there is.
God, dog. Man, I so wish I would have known. I don't know why I thought you was in Atlanta. Man, when I come there, I was all up in Cheddar's and the seafood restaurant and just hanging
Blackbeard,
out.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, man.
yeah.
Darn, I wish I would have known. I was looking for somebody to hang out with. I'll
Yep.
be back. I catch the bus all the time with that little, $40 ride, and I'm good. Take me straight there.
Yeah, yeah. I live next door to it. Some of my buddies bought a house
Mm.
here in Albany, and we turned it into a sober living house for males.
That's
For
it's funny you mentioned that. Wow. So that's a way to charge. I've been thinking about that. I've been thinking about buying a house and either doing blind, disabled, or sober living. Um, or somebody just getting out of jail or prison.
hmm
And somebody like you that has, the knowledge of life, that's the way you charge, but you don't have to charge them. You're getting a revenue from, housing them and mentoring them. Does that make
yeah,
sense? So we
yeah,
got that. I really thought about that. Then always in Albany, I've been going to Albany, since I've been in Georgia, and there's so much land and it's so cheap, as far as, rental space and all of that. I wanted to open up like this amazing center like CVI, but I want it, you know, I want it to be.
there need to be something down here. I've had some conversation with vocational rehab, man, about like I know some people down here that teach phlebotomy.
Hmm.
Disabled people. I think blind folks could do phlebotomy with the proper training because, once you find that damn vein, if you can, you stick the needle, you draw the damn blood.
Right.
But phlebotomy is a booming. This person certify people within 3 weeks, man.
Mm.
And so back in the day, there was some type of a blindness center down here in Albany.
Yep, I remember.
Yeah, and so I'm trying to get this person to understand if you get a vocational rehab contract, people can come down here for about 3 weeks. Disabled people come down here for 3 weeks. They put them up in the hotel. They get that certification in phlebotomy. They can go get a job any damn way, making good damn money.
Yeah.
And it's you know and it's something different. But like I say, why can't somebody who uses a wheelchair draw blood? Why can't a deaf person draw blood? Why can't a blind person with some alternative techniques draw blood and go out and they'll a first damn job they're making 20, 30 $30 an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the same way I think. So you got that. I just want better on it. I want better everything for us, man. I think that, the teaching, a lot of it is, just watered down. It's almost set in a atmosphere of I don't think you can do it, but this is my job to teach you. Therefore, I'm gonna teach you. But you depend on other people to make sure that your Cheerios have milk in it. Okay, don't forget that. I hate it, man. I grew up like but in the 70s and 80s, my mom, would always say a handicap is in the mind, and you can do whatever
Hmm.
you put your mind to. And if you change your mind, everything else around you will change. And, all of that. And so being able to, I play the saxophone and, I'm blind and all the stuff that you know about and all of that. But to have my parents at that playhouse and to see all of that come together at 48 years old, a competent man living on his own, being blind. And, I remember when we bought the first saxophone and all of that stuff. And then to see all of that come together in one play. I'm paying for you all to be privately escorted, to Albany from, Atlanta, and back. And you stand at my house and it's paid for, all of that, coming from where we come from, it was amazing. So I know it's not a lack for what we can do. And I think we need to have a center there, man. That's like second to none. And I want people from all over the world to come to it because we're gonna produce a very different product.
But the part of it is that, and I have been wondering how much of a role are we going to want vocational rehab to play in this? Because in my mind, maybe the time has passed with the current frame up of vocational rehab. Uh,
Probably the
you
current
know,
frame, but um, the money they still get,
oh
lots
yeah,
and
yeah,
lots and
well
lots and
yeah,
lots of
yeah,
money.
yeah, 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 yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, but
Oh
the
yeah, the money,
current
yeah.
mentality, they just not getting any results, and they can't change it. And then they're not willing to try something new because all the new stuff they do try, it fails, and so, a government's,
It
um,
fails. It fails because they don't ask, they don't invite from the beginning. They
no,
don't invite people who are out here living and who are who are living it and who are impacted from it. They don't invite them from day one. They only come and talk to us after they done created it.
right, right. And it's like, fitting a round peg in a square hole. It's like you created this. Now you want me to make the best of it when it wasn't sound in the first place. Man, I can go
Yeah.
on and on. Listen, man, I'm coming to Albany just to see you, man. I can't believe I've been coming there all year and you right there in Albany. We need to make something happen, dude. I'm with you. I'm with you. I do got to jump off, but I will say
Yeah.
this. I'm gonna say two things. I'm gonna say this. Number one, we ain't getting none of your story, so we just gonna have to have you back. Whenever you ready and say, "Vashawn, I got something to say." You own. You got a carte blanche anytime you want to do it. Come through and let's get get the rest of the story. Anything that you want to tell. That's number one. The second thing is you got a show that I have been subscribed to that I jump in periodically, listen to the replay, had a part. in it when you invited me, had some say so when you had Giorgio on. Um, and even though you're not getting paid for it, it's definitely helping the community. It don't help you eat, but all you got to do is say yes, sir, yes, ma'am. You'll be eating. No, I'm just playing. But tell us about the show, how they can find it. Tell them how they can reach you and how they can find you. And then I got one more request for you that I'll let you know about once you do that.
The name of the show is Tuesdays with Tootle, and that's also the Facebook page where you can go and sign up at. Because I haven't quite figured out how to create a landing page, which is what they told me it's called. Because I'm I'm not I'm not website tech website involved
Okay.
engaged, but there's a Facebook page, Tuesdays with Tootle. We come on every Tuesday night, and it's a live show from 6:30 till 7:30 Eastern, and just try to share info and talk about topics that impact people with disabilities. And any topic is a disability related topic because we're the largest minority group in this world.
Right.
So any topic impacts us. Uh, and what was the other part?
The other part is how they can reach you.
Well, the easiest way would be through that Facebook page,
Okay.
Tuesdays with Tootle. Uh, I have a internet radio station that we're trying to get going, and we'll get it up to par. And that's called Third Eye Radio Network, and we are on Live 365. Third Eye is a third
Mm.
THIRDEYE Radio Network.com. Uh, and and the email address for that is info at thirdeyeradio.network.com. And
Got you. All right. So my very last question for you before we'll say goodbye for now is what is one thing that you would tell anybody living with a disability to help encourage them to continue on?
don't let nobody tell you what you can't do. Uh, and go out and try, because life is about living. And so and since we don't know what happens next, you when you get to the end, I think you will want to be able to tell whatever you run into when this life is over is that you lived.
Yeah. I'm a big proponent of that, man. I read a book and they said, when you die, you're not talking about the things that you did. You're talking about the regrets in life, about the things that you didn't do, what you could have did, what you should have did, and if I would have made, this move. And I believe that to be real. And so that's why, not only do I do it and live life, I record it because people don't be believing, that I'm riding horses or in a Rolls Royce or traveling out the country, and I did it and I'm able to do it because I seen three guys you know do it, and those three
Hmm.
people was Robert Smith, Anil Lewis, and Garrick Scott.
Hmm.
And I just wanted to take it further than them, and through their connections, I was able to meet a fine gentleman such as yourself, regardless to what they say about us. You know what I'm talking about? Yes, sir. So listen, Tootle, on recording, man to man. Listen, man, you need anything, you call me. Next time you want to be on, you call me. You got something to say, you call me, and we'll make it happen however you want. I'm gonna be in Albany. I'm headed to Texas tomorrow to go hang out and visit my daughter. But and then you out of town. Wait, you said you was going to speak somewhere. What were you doing tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm going to Jonesboro, Arkansas.
Yeah, I'm headed
Because
to Arkansas too.
one of the things that because matter of fact, I just came back from Rockville, Maryland,
Okay.
from being from being part of a conference on talking about recovery options and people with disabilities.
Okay.
And I'm going to Jonesboro, Arkansas to talk about the accessibility barriers.
Hmm.
Because there's this big thing going around called DEI, and even though we got certain people from the political persuasion who wants to get rid of DEI, but DEI has a glass ceiling, and because DEI only primarily deals with race and gender,
Mm,
but it don't include disabilities.
right.
But people with disabilities are the largest minority group in this world. And since one of our major crises, if you listen at what people say, is the drug problem. But
Right.
disabled people don't have equal access to recover from their drug use. Thank God, due to my pre-training, due due to my pre-competencies as an independent blind person, when I did go into drug rehab that was not accessible or ready for somebody like me, I wouldn't let that hold me back. But accessibility is missing from DEI. Making sure that disabled people have equal access to what people of privilege have. If you can see, you you got privilege. If you can hear, you got privilege. If you can walk independently, you got privilege.
Right.
And whether you want to admit it or not, you got privilege. And access accessibility means that everybody should have access to whatever I got, however it needs to be served to them. And so
Wow.
that's
A lot of advocacy, boy. You advocate for the disabled on every front. That's what I'm talking about. But listen, man, involve me, involve us, and like I said, we will make it happen. If you know anything about
all
me,
right.
I don't just say stuff just to say it. There's no need because somebody gonna call you on it. Then you looking crazy. So there you go. Listen, man, I'm gonna hang up with you.
All right then, bro.
You got my number. Give me a
Thank you.
call, and thank you.
All right. Peace,
Peace.
y'all.